Everyone loves to hear words of comfort and encouragement from someone who has truly made it. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most inspiring celebrity commencement speeches.
If I leave you with anything, I'm going to leave you with these two words. And those two words are, I'm Batman.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at some of the most uplifting celebrity commencement speeches and making our choices based on how moving and memorable they are.
Living up to your heroes is amazing, but it's not good enough. The difference between goodness and greatness is going beyond. You have to push forward and surpass their greatness in order to pay homage to their struggle. Don't be afraid.
Number 10. Jon Stewart, College of William and Mary. Turns out that satirical talk show hosts make killer commencement speakers.
You have been told to follow your dreams. But what if it's a stupid dream?
Stephen Colbert absolutely rocked his 2011 speech at Northwestern, as did Jon Stewart at Virginia's College of William and Mary a few years prior. Stewart comes running out of the gate with a painfully accurate comment about how dull and boring graduation ceremonies are, and by poking fun at himself for being a third-rate celebrity speaker.
But today isn't about how my presence here devalues this fine institution. It is about you, the graduates. I'm honored to be here to congratulate you today.
However, it's not all jokes, as he delivers some scathing and reflective remarks about the terrible state of the world and the unpredictability of life.
I know we were supposed to bequeath to the next generation a world better than the one we were handed. So sorry.
Some of his jokes may land a little flat, but the combination of humor and sincerity make Jon Stewart's speech a good one. Number 9. Aaron Sorkin, Syracuse University. Aaron Sorkin is one of our generation's finest writers, so you know that his commencement speech was going to be something magnificent.
I wish I could tell you that there was a trick to avoiding the screw-ups, but the screw-ups, they're a-coming for you. It's a combination of life being unpredictable and you being super dumb.
Sorkin spoke at Syracuse University, and within the first 3 minutes, he was calling the graduates super dumb and barely functional.
Sometimes just when you think you have the ball safely in the end zone, you're back to delivering pizzas for Domino's. Welcome to the NFL.
It doesn't get much better from here, as he relays anecdotes about a failed actor, AIDS, and a debilitating drug addiction.
Try cocaine and you'll become addicted to it. Become addicted to cocaine and you will either be dead or you will wish you were dead, but it will only be one or the other.
But, like a tough parent, he uses these topics to touch on the harsh realities of life.
Today is May 13th, and today you graduate, and the rules are about to change, and one of them is this: decisions are made by those who show up.
While he eventually speaks about doing good, his bluntness is refreshing. Sometimes the most inspirational thing to hear is that life sucks.
Don't ever forget that a small group of thoughtful people can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has.
Number 8. Tom Hanks, Yale College. Let's be serious. Tom Hanks could trip on his robe and do nothing but cough into the microphone for 15 minutes, and we'd all call it inspirational.
Graduation day is a proper occasion to put a toe in the global waters, and I think the Mercury shows that things are much as they always have been.
But all joking aside, Hanks proves with this beautiful speech that he's just as lovely a man as everyone thinks he is.
By the way, I'm sporting the hat. It ain't coming off.
Hanks shows up clad in a suit and a Yale cap and absolutely commands the crowd for the next 20 minutes, offering incredibly well thought out jokes and inspiration in equal measure.
Evidence that our nation is becoming a better place is everywhere. But each new day, fear is, as the Jersey poet said, lurking in the darkness on the edge of town.
His views on fear and faith are beautiful and uplifting, and it allows us to feel, however briefly, a little more hopeful.
Your rising from bed every morning will give fear its chance to grow stronger, just as it will afford faith its chance to blossom.
Number 7. J.K. Rowling, Harvard University. If there's anyone we can look up to, it's J.K. Rowling. Rowling came from depression and poverty, but changed her life into something extraordinary and historical.
Climbing out of poverty by your own efforts, that is something on which to pride yourself. But poverty itself is romanticized only by fools.
In her speech, the humble Rowling uses the Harvard stage to discuss the importance of failure.
a mere 7 years after my graduation day, I had failed on an epic scale.
However, she uses this tough topic as a springboard to discuss ambition and self-betterment. She used her own failure to realize certain things about herself and to focus on what she was good at, writing.
So why do I talk about the benefits of failure? Simply because failure meant a stripping away of the inessential.
And now she's a billionaire giving a commencement speech at Harvard. Failure is an uncomfortable but necessary part of life, and hearing it from J.K. Rowling is, paradoxically, incredibly comforting.
I was set free because my greatest fear had been realized, and I was still alive, and I still had a daughter whom I adored, and I had an old typewriter and a big idea. And so rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life.
Number 6. Meryl Streep, Barnard College. Expectations were probably sky high for Meryl Streep's Barnard College commencement speech. After all, she's one of the greatest and most celebrated actors of all time, so she knows a thing or two about achieving success.
The things are changing now, and it's in your generation that we're seeing this.
Streep forewent the usual all-encompassing and generic inspirational platitudes to address and focus on the primarily female audience.
This is your time, and it feels normal to you, but really there is no normal. There's only change and resistance to it, and then more change.
She talks about the rise of strong female protagonists in film, the shedding of prejudices about women, and the rise of empathy.
And the door into this emotional shift is empathy. As Jung said, emotion is the chief source of becoming conscious.
Streep does not touch on material success, but she allows us to feel hope for a better and more equal and balanced future.
You, young women of Barnard, have not had to squeeze yourselves into the corset of being cute or to muffle your opinions, but then you haven't left campus yet. I'm just kidding.
Number 5. Conan O'Brien, Dartmouth College. With this speech, Conan O'Brien demonstrates why he's considered a masterful comedian.
For example, you have worked tirelessly for 4 years to earn the diploma you'll be receiving this weekend. That was great. And Dartmouth is giving me the same degree for interviewing the 4th lead in Twilight.
He begins with numerous jokes about Dartmouth, choosing him as a speaker, the unfairness of life, the college's president, and its wimpy motto.
Your school motto is Vox Clamantis in Deserto, which means voice crying out in the wilderness. This is easily the most pathetic school motto I have ever heard.
However, about 3/4 of the way through, he switches gears and talks about his well-documented failure on The Tonight Show.
In 2000, I told graduates, don't be afraid to fail. Well, now I'm here to tell you that though you should not fear failure, you should do your very best to avoid it.
Like those before him, he speaks about how failure gives people clarity and shapes them into becoming something truly original and unique.
It's tough out there, so be patient. The only people hiring right now are Panera Bread and Mexican drug cartels.
Celebrities have the innate ability to make us feel comfortable with the idea of failure, and perhaps no one makes us feel more comfortable than the warm, endearing, and endlessly funny Conan O'Brien.
What Nietzsche should have said is, whatever doesn't kill you makes you watch a lot of Cartoon Network and drink mid-price Chardonnay at 11 in the morning.
Number 4. Ellen DeGeneres, Tulane University. We don't think it's hyperbolic to say that Ellen DeGeneres is one of the most inspiring and groundbreaking entertainers of our generation.
How does one introduce a woman who is on the first-name basis with the world?
She inspired millions when she came out in 1997, and her behavior in the face of the resulting adversity was brave and encouraging.
And I thought, what's the worst that can happen? I can lose my career. I did. I lost my career.
She brings this uplifting personality and optimism to her Tulane commencement speech.
I don't know if President Cowan knows, I didn't go to college at all, any college. And I'm not saying you wasted your time or money, but look at me, I'm a huge celebrity.
She uses her burdened past and the poor treatment she received to convey her belief that happiness comes from being true to who you are.
I mean, it was so important for me to lose everything because I found out what the most important thing is to be true to yourself.
If you know who you are and don't conform to anyone's ideas or pressure, you'll be okay. Cue Lady Gaga.
Katrina class of 2009, I say congratulations, and if you don't remember a thing I said today, remember this. You're gonna be okay. Dum, doom, doom, doom. Just dance.
Number 3. Steve Jobs, Stanford University. For his 2005 Stanford Commencement, Steve Jobs relayed 3 stories about his life and 3 key lessons.
I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out.
The first story concerns connecting the dots in life. We don't see the dots connecting things while we're busy living our lives, but we may see the bigger picture upon reflection.
You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards.
This, he says, is a form of destiny. The second story revolves around not settling and finding your true passions.
If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them.
The third involves his own cancer diagnosis and how it taught him the value of death.
Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life.
It all comes together to form a terrific speech about being true to yourself, following your heart, and going after what you were put on earth to do.
Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
Number 2. Barack Obama, Howard University. Man, just imagine getting Barack Obama as your commencement speaker.
You might say to yourself a little phrase that I've found handy these last 8 years. Yes, we can.
It's safe to say that hype was extremely high for Obama's speech at Howard, and luckily, he did not disappoint. Obama suitably touched on many problems facing America today, including difficult race relations, employment, and the huge gaps in justice for African Americans.
A vision for an America where our fates would be determined not by our race, gender, religion, or creed, but where we would be free in every sense to pursue our individual and collective dreams.
However, he inspires confidence by declaring that the world is better and more inclusive than it has ever been, and that this generation has the power to inspire some truly world-altering change.
Now Shonda Rhimes owns Thursday night, and Beyonce runs the world.
This amazing speech was followed about a month later by an equally memorable one from Michelle for City College of New York, securing the Obama's legacy as national treasures.
You have in this great country, pursue your own version of happiness. And please, please always do your part to help others do the same.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it.
We all grow up afraid of something. Your generation had to get used to taking off your shoes at the airport. My generation had to get used to awkward PSAs from boys to men telling us to use protection. But during those tough times, we realized how wonderful it felt to be part of a group.
Number 1. Oprah Winfrey, USC Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism. Is it cliche to say that Oprah gives the best commencement speeches? Probably.
The good news is that there really is a solution. And the solution is each and every one of you.
But is it a cliche if it's true? Oprah has given many terrific commencement speeches, including one at Stanford in 2008 and another at Harvard in 2013.
This moment in time, this is your time to rise.
However, her 2018 USC Annenberg speech is one for the ages. In it, she addresses the controversial political climate and the use of social media to spread toxicity and false information.
You can use your gifts, that's what you're really here to do, to illuminate the darkness in our world.
However, she also gives everyone hope by declaring that we have the power to ward off evil, to combat false information, and to spread joy.
And what mountains could we move, I think? What gridlock could we eradicate if we were to join forces and work together in service of something greater than ourselves?
It was a much welcomed and necessary balm in the midst of a turbulent time in American history.
And I hope you shake things up. And when the time comes to bet on yourself, I hope you double down.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.